on seeing 2026 film Project Hail Mary solo 3 times in April 2026 at Regal Cinebarre Mountlake. Today is Thursday, 14 May 2026, and here I, Tanis of Seattle, reflect on seeing 2026 film Project Hail Mary solo 3 times in April 2026 at Regal Cinebarre Mountlake, and whether I think it was a good way of remembering that I liked the movie upon its initial release in theaters. Is 3 solo attended movie showings enough? With this video, it marks the 5th consecutive month I have covered the movie on this YouTube channel at publicly published level, with at least one video with Project Hail Mary in the title in reference to the movie. Yes. So this is an interesting one. So I saw theaters, movie trailers for it back, in 2025. This movie, Project Hail Mary, 2026 film, and I have an unlimited pass, and I got that back in November 2025, and I'm making good use to it. And this is like one of those ones that I was like, I liked the movie trailer for, and then the bad people entered the picture. So leading up to which in movie going, I call them bad people because they are bad people. Okay, there are good people and there are bad people, and these are the bad people. And they're the people who, go to movie theater and be like, I read the book, and maybe like, and I'm just like, this is called a movie theater. Like, I'm a movie person, and they're not a movie buff. If you have to bring that up in advance, or you're not there for the movie's sake, they're for the book, right? So it's just a distinction. Anybody can go to the movie theaters, but they're not the movie buffs, the people who do that. So leading up to seeing 2026 film Project Hail Mary in a movie theater, I overheard a bunch of people saying they were excited to see it because they had read the book. And then, and then they go, oh, I like it, and then they trash it, so it's kind of like, I prefer not to see the movie with you, anybody in that group, Okay, so luckily I had not read the book. I chose the more unique path of letting the movie speak to me if I liked it for the movie. I liked it, so I went more than once. Yes, so I'm very much moviegoer, and I'm very much like, I have been this way my entire life, is like, those bookworms and book people who are like, they always have to bring up the movie, and they're kind of like the one-upper personality type of, they always have to beat it, they always have to be like, you have to read it because of me if you've seen the movie, that kind of like control freak, and I'm not, I'm creative type B type, right. And so like for me, I'm capable of art appreciation. Right, and that different forms and different mediums can have different meaning. And so there's video form, like a movie, and then there's textual form, like a book. And I'm capable of understanding that those are different, and they're allowed to be different. And so this is one where I love the movie Project Hail Mary, and like, So there we go, and I saw it more than once, solo. I think that for my movie going, perhaps of recent, the most esteem I can treat a movie with is going solo. And thinking of my hierarchy. And so, did I see it enough? Is it still in theaters? Should I go again? I do not have a stopping number 5 for 2026 thus far, so I've seen it 4 times, and I also saw a 2026 film, Reminders of Him, which was also based on a book that I have not read. I saw that one before Project Hail Mary, which was Wuthering Heights, was also based on a book I had not read, but I did go back and read that book. By no means is it the first movie I've seen at the Regal Cinebarre Mountlake that's based on a book. Or it's not the first movie I've seen that's based on a book I had not read. Okay. It's not the first I saw at the Regal Cinebarre Mountlake based on a movie I have read, or a book I have read, or a work, or a segment of a work, or whatever one wants to call it. Okay. A part of a whole. Okay. Yeah, so I have seen it 4 times total this 2026 year thus far. If I go this May 2026 month and cover it on my channel in a dedicated way, it would be the 5th consecutive month I did so. Wait, that is this video. So this is the 5th consecutive month I've covered it. Should I be like, is it still in theaters? Should I make an effort? That one's a big question mark at this point in time. So perhaps a verdict for like, if it was a good treatment, the 3 solo, I'll link in the video description to I've covered, every time I've gone, be it solo or not, I've done at least one video, including like I would do a little, like, there's a little blurb kind of about each video in the description. But like, I did preparatory work in video form, such as watching, Ryan Gosling with Seth Meyers, an interview there where they talked about this movie, and actually not just watching it, but being an active producer in the community, not just a glutton and consuming, right? But producing these videos, like as in putting content out into the world, being a producer in the ecosystem. And so like, I went and got banana bread Pop-Tarts because they talked about Pop-Tarts, and then I brought that up in the video, and really trying to be respectful of the video and the, people in it, and then the corresponding work business sphere that pushes movies such as talk shows. So there we go. So my verdict, in terms of like legacy of the movie and me going solo 3 times and stuff, is perhaps I shall not read the book to not pollute my pristine movie coverage. If a person reads the book the same number of times they saw the movie in theaters, or read the book more, that to me indicates they prefer the book more, as they were not willing / motivated enough to overtake the book with the movie. So if a person read the book 2 times, they would have to see the movie in theaters 3 times to be a movie person. They would have to tie me if they have not got there yet. That's also a self-reference, because I'm thinking about reading The Odyssey a 2nd time, and so for me to overtake myself at the movies would take 3. Okay, so it's actually a self-reference thing. So I hold myself accountable with this approach for 2026 film The Odyssey. It is just initial release after all. It would be the first I read then saw the movie of at Regal Cinebarre Mountlake. My first I saw the movie at Regal Cinebarre Mountlake and then read was 2026 film Wuthering Heights. I saw it on 12 February 2026 and finished reading in April 2026. And I am deliberately excluding book because book formats can change with time, and some of these are like, The Odyssey is approximately 2,800 years old, and Wuthering Heights is like approximately 180 years old or something like that. So like these are real literature classics that I have selected. I got taste. And especially in my movie and writings pairing. There we go, writing. It's writing. Okay, it's a beautiful pairing, these two, if I can make it work. I read The Odyssey in relation to a course in Near East literature I took at the University of Washington in 2011. Could I imagine a PhD covering my 2 Regal Cinebarre Mountlake first movie reading movie like pairs? It would be like, whoa, highest level of movie going self-impact possible in terms of highest level of education / degree attained. Does that mean Regal Cinebarre Mountlake makes like history if I make history, especially with those degrees? Whoa. So how does this relate to Project Hail Mary? ? My 2025, the Tanis Award for Heart of Pyrite, I announced publicly in February 2026, I picked for science communication. My language / literature pairing of Greek, The Odyssey, and English, Wuthering Heights, is about learning to communicate in relation to my cardiology / physiology self-experimentation. Cardiology is study of the human heart, organ inside the human body and the corresponding blood system, at least for me. Okay. The book Project Hail Mary is science fiction, all caps, fiction, F-I-C-T-I-O-N. After all, can I communicate what I do so that it is not confused with fiction? People might read the book and be like, oh my gosh, it's so technical. And I'm a scientist. I have a Bachelor of Science degree. I have an arts, in geology and geophysics with a minor in mathematics and associates of arts and sciences in mathematics. And I spent like over 4.00 years in a graduate program at a #1 university in geophysics. And I'm going, and I've been doing cardiology self-experimentation for like 9 consecutive years, and I go, it's fiction, honey. But I don't say it out loud, right? Like some people like, and I'm like, okay, but how does that serve the word? This attitude that I have right here, it doesn't do any good. I need to be able to communicate myself so that it differentiates, and so people don't like get confused with fiction. That's a dream, right? Some of those authors deliberately make it technical so that it is fiction, but like people can't actually distinguish that. So there's some basic level of like literacy that I can't do, right? Like the people who just don't want to learn science don't want to learn science, right? That's why science fiction exists. but I'm going for the real stuff. That's what I do. So I do look at this and I go, it's a cautionary tale on people, you know, if they call it technical, and I'm like, and they have no science background, and I'm like, it's fiction. It's science fiction. Fiction. You know, so a real need, perhaps, is a way of saying, for me, perhaps, to pursue language and literature for graduate school, should that come to be, as opposed to, like, science. If they can't even distinguish science and science fiction. God, Hades, help us all. I know. So that's on seeing 2026 film Project Hail Mary solo 3 times in April 2026 at Regal Cinebarre Mountlake.